Hey, hey there, it's Mr. Todd. I'm telling you a little bit about PatchWorld today and how there's this amazing new thing that two patchers that met on the Discord, Bees Please and Raz, created a way for people that have things like tablets can talk directly to worlds in PatchWorld. And so the things that you need today to basically go along, work alongside me here, is you're going to need some sort of like tablet or phone that's iOS based, because that's what I have. And you're going to have to download one app called TouchOSC. Now, Bees Please has created a whole entire free PC based key mapping, but I haven't done that yet. So for now, we're going to do something that's iOS based and it works with this TouchOSC interface that both Raz and Bees have put together. All right. So first things first, I got to make sure that our IPs line up. What does that mean? Well, first off, I go in and I look at my Wi-Fi on my headset. And the Wi-Fi on my headset tells me everything I need to know about the IP address. So I put that IP address in TouchOSC by going to here, not MIDI, but to OSC, and I type in what that IP address is. See how I did that there? All right, now in Patch, I'm going to open a world called Patch PW features that I created. And so you're going to go into community and either scroll down with your thumbstick and find me, and then you'll see PW feature vid. All right, PW feature vid. And then you're going to click on that. And then it's going to tell you that it's updating assets. And then once it's done, it's going to show you a world that I made that's based off of a world that Raz made in here. And I think I simplified it a tiny bit, but I also kind of, messed with it so that it's a little bit more, customized for my taste. So the way I can get this to work is by making sure the IP in this world is the same as the IP. Well, actually, as that both the IP, both the IPs talk to each other. So, like right up here, it tells me configure the remote IP. So now the IP that's up here, I need to make sure that it matches with what my iPad has. Well, I'm not sure what that is. So I go to the Wi-Fi, making sure that we have the same Wi-Fi, right? And then scroll down and see that, oh no, it's not the same. So I gotta make sure that I change the remote IP numbers to match what's on the iPad, which is what you see on the screen. Now, once I've got those talking to each other, the magic happens right after that. All right, so everything should be working. I've got to go back to the TouchOSC app that I have, click done, and click play. Now, here's what's cool. Mr. Dog, that's one of the main cool things. Yeah, you think so too. I believe it. All right, so I made this little part of the world right over here that has a few things going on, but I don't want to confuse you. So here's the first thing you need to know. I'm going to be doing, hello. I'm going to be doing a little bit of playing on the iPad, but I really want to see how, see it really clearly on the screen while I'm doing it. So I brought in an AR window. which basically just shows the world around me. Yeah, and then I'm going to put everything really close here. There we go. I'm going to put what I'm actually playing in front of me. Now you'll notice that there's a little bit of audio, I call it audio hiccuping, happening while I'm playing, and that's because my Wi-Fi is going through a hotspot. Now you probably have the best Wi-Fi in the world where you are. I don't, and as a result, anything that's a little on the heavier side world-wise, like this particular world with all its crazy stuff, is gonna make an audio weirdness happen. But check that out. Did you hear? Yeah. So also one of the things you can do in Patch is you can change. Yeah, exactly. No kidding. The connection isn't stable. You can change your buffer size to change it so it sounds a little bit better. Latency changes are important when we're playing. So I'm going to turn the buffer size to 256 samples. It's going to be the best touch latency, but it might be the hardest sounding. It's not going to sound as good as what we might want to have. So, all right. So here's the interface that I was telling you about, the key mapping that Raz and Beast Please put together for the tablet. It's in TouchOSC. On Discord, it's downloaded, okay? And, you can download it, that's what I mean. And what's cool about it is it's not just the keys, but it's also the CC, the controls you see there. You're like, well, how does that even make any sense? Well, so check this out. So when I click on CC, there's a whole, what the heck is all of this, right? Well, I gotta push this up here, so otherwise you can't really understand the immensity of this. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this so it's right. And you know what? I just realized I don't have to do it that way. Okay, you can see it better now. All right, so check this out. I have all of these things, and then I have this crazy thing in this world. This is what Raz made. Raz's device connects completely to this device. Now, the way I make sure that it does is that I have to make sure that this is the right channel. Right now it says channel 1. Up here it says channel 5. Whoops. Channel 5, channel 1. So I got to switch this so that it says channel 5. Yeah. All right. And when I move this, it moves everything on this. This is insane. He created this binding that literally, I'm using an iPad, right? And the iPad is changing these specific things on this device, which means every single patch that comes from this device can change things in the world. So I did that. I'm like, oh, I want it to change that thing in Square Wolf, right? So I was like, oh, I want that to change this knob in Square Wolf. And then I want this to change the actual slider, right? Well, that's easy enough to do when I map this to my iPad. But what's crazy too is that I can also play all the stuff through at the same time. But you're like, Mr. Todd, well, how can you do this and that other screen? Well, I can plug in a MIDI device into my iPad wiredly, or using Bluetooth wireless, I can take a dongle on the back of a MIDI keyboard, which I'll show later, and just have that signal be sent to the TouchOSC thing. So I could play this MIDI keyboard send it all into to this program, and it'll talk to Patch. It's as simple as that. So also, I wanted to show you that I was like, wait a minute. Well, can't you do things like move stuff? Like if I wanted to move, like say I wanted to move I wanted to move this narwhal. All right. So I was like, okay, well, I want to do stuff. So Raz has made this other crazy cube device that is on a completely separate section on the iPad screen. It has on the top, doesn't just have the side, but also the top level. It has all these different things. You can do pads, you can do faders, you can do X, Y. You got a sensor, you got a toggle, and every single one of these tabs has to do with a different surface on this cube. So watch this. So look, now I was like, well, I want to move my narwhal, and then I want to play. I want to move my narwhal to the music. So I can do both of those things at the same time. What? Yeah, that's why I'm so jazzed about this. It's ridiculous. Oh, I had this other effect with the set material. I wanted to inflate it. So I inflated this. So I set this to that XY, and now it inflates and explodes. Oh no! So we've got movement, because I have it connected to this rotor. So you could be playing this instrument, right? You could be just playing this instrument and doing all of these things while you're playing it. And it doesn't stop there. I mean, Raz has thought of all of it. Raz has thought of like, oh well, what if you wanted? It makes me sad. He works so hard, and people don't really know. He made a whole rhythm side that connects with the rhythm. He made a whole thing. Where is it? Oh man, I don't want to lose anything. Oh yeah, no, actually, I think I brought it over here because it was so cool. Oh, I don't remember where I put it. Anyway, so maybe touch my business. Oh yeah, he took his mixer, right? His normal mixer, and he has the whole thing all set up. I'll show you. He has this mixer. Okay. All right. It's hard to kind of get used to, like moving things around. You're like, oh, well, this is real, and this is not, and this isn't. All right. So, for instance, so he's got a mixer, right? So on here, on the side, you're like, oh, I want to mix this. So he has he has every single one of these mapped on here. That you can record, or you can have it, and it can all be connected to effects and whatever. But every single one, look, every single one of these things have been mapped out. So you can do whatever you want. You can do what I did and just be like, oh, I'm just going to take this one channel thing and I'm going to connect it to a multiply and a rotor. You can make it as simple as that, because that's the other thing. He made it just as simple as that, where you can go, okay, well, I'm going to take this channel right here, this box, and then move it over here, and then anything that is coming from the IP through channel 2, right, will be set that way too. So all the channels, every channel that's in here, all 16 of them. I'm just floored. And this video is a little longer than I want it to go, but my God, if people can't just realize how ridiculous this means, and this is something that I want you to understand, is that this means that I can have a classroom full of students sending MIDI information from each one of their own devices. And I have quite a few iPads that are older iPads that people just donated because people get rid of stuff. when they think that they're not useful anymore. People just gave me like iPads that still will send Bluetooth MIDI, right? So now I've got all these iPads sending Bluetooth MIDI to this destination point that then just talks to Patch. So we could cast this world like you see right now. You could cast it on a projector that everybody can see, and everybody can have their instruments out, and they're all changing the world. Like I can have every instrument have a different animal that they're moving around. So it could be like this giant puppet show with everybody who has an instrument controlling their own puppets. You know what I mean? It's just we're not even scratching the surface quite yet, and people are like, oh, I don't understand. So I just want you to understand that this is real. It's happening. I'm calling it. I'm just calling it right now. It's the golden age of VR, and PatchWorld is leading the way because of the fact that not only is all of this happening, but I can also do hand tracking too, right? So exactly. I'm playing here, but then I can also just move things around with my hands. But here's what happens: things fall down because I forget where reality is and where. Right? Well, that's what happens. What do you expect to happen? You forget what's reality, what's real, and what's not. Yeah. So anyway, that's my video, man. Good God! Somebody get this guy an actual camera or something. Because otherwise it's just gonna break things. Bye. So this is part 2, and I didn't realize I needed a part 2, but apparently I needed a part 2. So here's the deal. One of our main content guys, God, said, well, this would be really nice if you were using the Standalone desktop app. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't, yeah, whatever. And as it turns out, I have the Standalone Mac OS desktop version. And I was like, well, I guess I could try that out and see if it does work. And all I did was do what I showed you before, and I moved my the remote the IP address so that it was correct. I'm not going to go all the way over there because you have to do this thing. You have to use your mouse to move things, and I'm like, I don't have the energy to do that. Okay, so God, no, I'm not going to do that. But you can basically move your thing around, get it all geared up, and yeah, look. It's working. And all of the things I was showing you before about the narwhal on the thingy, it's all working. It goes directly. You don't even need a headset. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is you just need a mouse and Raz's tools and Beez's key mappings and so Patches created this whole self-contained situation with multiplayer music that doesn't even require a headset, but talks to people in headsets and has this crazy environment that's a sandbox. So the headsets could be an afterthought. People could just be patchers with this. Down here, you're seeing 2 different devices, and they're going in 2 different places. And then you're gonna see some fun stuff. So if I back up on this camera here, you'll see that I have these 2 things mapped. Watch. I've got this on the right, you see that little slider, and then that slider, and then that slider, and then I have these sliders. Oop, this one. Yep. That one's a little not obvious, but those two, boink, 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 boink. Yeah. So yeah, you can do all this stuff while you're also... Yeah, that means you can change any of the parts of your patch so that the audio is affected and the visuals are affected. Look at the visuals. You can move the screen around, or the background around, just by changing this toggle. So imagine if you were just like sitting in the audience at a show and the entire show was, say, the backdrop, a 360 backdrop, and you were able to, affect it by just coming over to a phone and adjusting a slider. It'd be pretty crazy. In fact, on here, I gotta show you this. There's also a sensor, so you could do, gyroscope and that sort of stuff on here. Yeah. Raz has already thought of that too. And there's also a gamepad mapping. And I think that might have been Bees Please that did that part. I don't know who did what, to be fair. But anyway. You're starting to get it, I think, right?